All right, guys, we are live. Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have Zach on from TokenTax. You guys know crypto taxes are right around the corner, and so many people in crypto are confused about crypto taxes. So we have people who are building amazing software to help people solve the issue of how to handle the crypto taxes, but more importantly, how to automate everything. So welcome to the show, Zach.
Thank you so much, Ian. It's a pleasure to be here. Hope to give some useful tax tips with April 15th right around the corner and show people there is a really easy way to figure out their crypto taxes and not to be so intimidated and worried like in past years.
Yeah. Okay, so first thing first, tell us more about the product, right? How did you guys come up with the idea of creating TokenTax?
Yeah, so my co-founder Alex was building a platform that connected to Coinbase and just did FIFO accounting. And for me personally, I was investing in crypto. I was tracking all the tax lots of all the different crypto I bought, figuring out which one I sold. And so I talked to Alex and I said, look, we should allow people to track their tax lots in a way that the exchanges don't. We could make this much bigger. We could connect to every exchange. And so the original idea had won the Product Hunt Global Hackathon and won over $100,000 in prizes, which we basically used to bootstrap and fund the relaunch last February. But basically the whole premise is the existing crypto tax software out there was really hard to use, really hard to get your data right. And one mistake in there could be thousands of dollars. So we wanted to make a platform that had real accountants, real crypto tax and data formatting and Excel wizard experts fixing your data. You upload everything in one simple upload tab, and then your tax forms appear right there. You download them, import into TurboTax, give to your CPA to file, or we can even file now for people as well.
And I think that's very big, right? Being able to automate the entire process where you just hand it off to a CPA. Because I know, crypto, I've been very blessed to have been here during the bull run and make lots of money. But one of the things we didn't really plan for were the taxes on millions and millions of dollars. And then all the exchanges aren't really so friendly in terms of helping you get the data you need to give your CPA, right? So I think this is definitely a very big problem in crypto.
Yeah, every exchange has different data formatting. So when people were hiring their CPAs were doing this themselves, and you had to look up the price of every trade if it was crypto to crypto, if the US dollars weren't applied. People are doing it in Excel, and in Excel, yeah, it's easy to do FIFO, but you can't do this specific shares where you're actually tracking the tax lots and figuring out, oh, I'd rather have $1,000 long-term gain than a $500 short-term gain while you're actually trading. So, our software, not only is it for figuring out taxes in the past, it's for using in real time in 2019 while you're making trades to say, hey, if I put in this mock trade, let me see my existing tax lots. What will the tax liability be? Which Ethereum should I sell to make this purchase of Binance coin or whatever?
Wow, okay, that's big. That's big. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for tuning in for this live stream AMA. We're here with Zach from the TokenTax team. If you guys have any questions you would like to ask, just go to menti.com, menti.com, and use the code 81865 to submit your questions. That's 81865 at menti.com. All right, Zach. Well, tell us, what can somebody expect in terms of using this product?
Yeah, I think you can expect a really easy experience. We have an automated platform, and the price is $200. Basically, you upload your data, you format your own stuff into our template as best you can. But my team is always there, and me on intercom, on the little chat icon on our bottom right of our screen, which I'll show later, answering whatever questions you have. Hey, how should this fork be treated? How should this airdrop be treated? Hey, I participated in an ICO, I never received the tokens. What's the tax treatment? Like I mentioned earlier, we work with Briar Capital, we work with funds that use the Big Four for their accounting. And so we kind of get to cross-pollinate across the Big Four, like, oh, KPMG is treating this SAFT, this token like this. And to make sure that, other big accounting firms are all acting in accordance. And so what you can expect is that level of knowledge, even for an individual taxpayer who's just traded on a few exchanges, and a really easy experience. We give you step-by-step instructions, download your CSV, download your API, import it here. We take a look at your data, make sure everything looks good, tell you to download your forms, and you're done. And the foundation of TokenTax is personal finance. And I didn't really mention anything about my own background, but long story short, I had a pretty eclectic path, but I did investment banking for a couple of years, got my degree in accounting. But then while I was an investment banker, I did a program called Operation Hope out in California, where financial professionals go and teach financial literacy to inner city high schools or places like that. And I absolutely loved it, fell in love with teaching, decided, hey, I'm going to take a break from the corporate world, and went and did Teach for America for 3 years and moved to New York City, where I still am, and taught math and made it about entrepreneurship and personal finance. And, you know, I've been investing as a passion and a hobby for a long time, and had a really specific understanding of specific shares accounting, about the tax law tracking, things that became very relevant in 2017 with the run up in crypto. But kind of the foundation of TokenTax is that financial literacy piece. Like, we don't want people to see on Twitter, oh, this, you know, wash sale rules don't apply, or make sure to tax loss. We want to teach people what tax loss harvesting actually means. And, you know, we want to take the tools that really wealthy people have, you know, hedge fund managers, private wealth managers are doing for their clients, like tax loss harvesting, tax lot tracking, and show everyone what that is, kind of democratize access to this knowledge. Because, you know, after Teach for America, I worked over in Zimbabwe in the summers. I did Imprint Capital, where I was doing impact investing in good and companies that do well and make money. And that's kind of where I saw and first learned about crypto. And, you know, living in Zimbabwe for a while and seeing what it's like in a hyperinflation economy. People walk around with old crumpled $1 bills from the US because their currency is so useless. And I realized, like, crypto could be amazing for places like this. And so, you know, I wanted to get involved in crypto, and I went to a lot of meetups, was investing. And basically in 2017, wealthy friends were like, hey, can you help me figure out my tax situation? Help me harvest losses from my stock portfolio or my properties I own or whatever it is. And I realized, you know, it's just helping really wealthy people save a little bit more of their money, even though it's a fascinating puzzle and I really love it. But then I met Alex, and I was like, we could build a tool to let everyone do this. You know, I was the tax and accounting side. He's the software and design side and engineering side. And, you know, we built this platform that basically democratizes access to tax loss harvesting. And I'll show some of those features later on in the demo.
Yeah, all right, cool. Well, guys, if you want to see the demo, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. All right, I think this is a very, very unique product. I've had a chance to kind of go through it online, but I'm also excited for the demo. I think maybe we just hop into it, Zach.
Sure. All right. Sure.
All right. And while you're doing that, Christian is asking, if it's global, what are the countries you focus on?
Yeah, we are global. Most of our customers are in the US, but we also serve UK, Canada, Australia. You know, we have had customers from dozens of countries. And so we basically have like an encyclopedia of the rules in different countries. You know, Sweden was in the news recently for going after a crypto trader, but we had some clients there. And what's interesting is, like, the UK, for example, and Canada use average cost accounting, and they've given different guidance. And in the UK, they run from April 6th to April 5th. Or in Australia, they run from, you know, July 1st to June 30th. And so we've basically customized the software so that it works in whatever country you're in. And, you know, you can imagine in the US, tax loss harvesting is easier in some ways because you can track your tax lots and figure out exactly which Bitcoin and Ethereum you're selling or whatever. But in a country where average cost accounting is happening, it becomes harder, because when, let's just say you hold some altcoin at a big loss, you bought Neo, you have it at a really big loss, you want to sell it, but whatever you sell it for, if it's not dollars or fiat, you're actually making another purchase, which retroactively changes your cost basis in every other trade. So if you sell ZRX, you have a big loss on for Bitcoin in Canada or in the UK, at the end of 2018, you just bought some really cheap Bitcoin. It's going to change your cost basis on every other trade you've made, which could actually cause you to have a bigger gain. So basically, you really need to understand what you're doing, or have software that helps you do mock trades to do tax loss harvesting in some of these other domains. And, you know, that's just a preview of basically the complexity going from country to country. But that's exactly what my team and I are there on Intercom to answer questions for. Like, hey, before I make this trade, can we talk about this? And, you know, we love teaching people. We love the personal finance aspect. So let me jump in right here with the product. So here's a quick tutorial. So you'd sign up, create an account, and then here's the 4 tab: tax dashboard, documents, which is where if you use us to file your full tax return, you can review it there. Import data is where you'd start. So you come here, import data. You can import via API. We support 40 or more exchanges via API. Basically every exchange that has useful API we support. And then or you can do CSV from every exchange if you don't want to connect APIs.
Okay, that's good.
Basically we support every single exchange out there that exists via CSV. If you ever find one we don't support, we'll help you put it into our template. We have a manual template for any OTC trades or ICO trades, and then we'll have our engineers automatically support it in the future. Within a day we'll add it. So we basically support every exchange, and we have that manual template for other things. So you just click here for API, and then you could say, all right, add source, go to your exchange. All right, add Coinbase. You just do the OAuth. So I'm not going to do it. I don't want to pull data into our demo account, but you click here, you just log into Coinbase, and your trades all pull in, and then they show up here on the all transactions tab. So here you can see all your raw data from every exchange, every trade, deposit, withdrawal you've ever made. You can download it. You can delete transactions. You can see 500 at a time, delete 500 at a time if you make a mistake. And then basically you import that data, you drag and drop CSVs, and then the system runs and it shows you your tax dashboard. And so, like I said, when I've traded, I track my own tax lots. I figure out exactly which crypto I'm going to sell and which ones I'm going to hold for every trade I make. You can do this in real time. But then here we show you FIFO, LIFO, minimization. And so the way minimization works is basically you tell us where you're filing, like New York City, and that you're married, and that what your income is, including crypto, let's say 80,000. Then we know exactly what your long-term capital gain rate is and short-term capital gain rate. And so we can actually say, all right, so Mark in New York, a $1,000 long-term gain for Mark is preferable to a $500 short-term gain. So we help him actually figure that out, to figure out which tax lots he could sell when making a trade to minimize his taxes. And that's
for example, with that, how do we read that on the screen?
So for example, this Bitcoin sold on January 16th. It was acquired on January 12th. So basically the algorithm knows, all right, so the Bitcoin that was the most expensive or that minimized taxes that was held at that day on November 16th was this Bitcoin bought on January 16th, was this Bitcoin bought on January 12th? Or for example, this Ethereum here was sold on January 11th, and the algorithm said, all right, at the time, the Ethereum that they had paid the most for, the highest price, but it also factors in the long-term capital gain versus short-term capital gain difference. So, you can see in this case, there were no long-term gains. But if you have a mix of short-term and long-term gains, the system actually weights them so you can actually figure out, all right, for your custom tax situation, which tax lot would you actually be tracking? Would you be selling in an optimal way? And, just to make a comparison with stocks like E-Trade, Ameritrade, IAB, the crypto brokerages should allow people to do this in real time. They should let you track the cost basis of your crypto. And that's what we're encouraging the exchanges to allow people to do. Maybe Robinhood started doing this now.
Now, quick question. So with the minimization and this dashboard, right now it's showing tokens that have been sold, correct?
Yeah, this is like your 89.49. So your gain loss.
Now, which one is predicting what you should do for that in the future? Which one is telling you it's better to hold or to sell?
So you would look at your closing balance. Basically, the system looks at your closing balance reports. So what exactly you're still holding as of, so this is a 2018 account. If I opened a 2019 account and downloaded the closing position report, the system is tracking exactly what you held as of that day. It would look something like this. So it'd be like, all right, you hold 2.52 Ethereum that were bought on June 13, 2017. It would know exactly all the crypto you have left at that point. Like for example, let's take a look here. So this demo account has, these are the unrealized losses, as in this person, this account This data has 900 XZX held at a $5,000 loss. They hold 1.64 Bitcoin at a $4,000 loss. So basically, they know exactly what you paid. The cost basis was $10,448. And so the system can actually say, all right, selling this 1.64 of Bitcoin will get you a loss. And that's one tax lot. So you could sell part of that. And then down
that makes sense.
You can see, all right, oh, but they also hold 0.84 Bitcoin at a big gain that they paid almost nothing for a long time ago. So basically, or they mined it and didn't, the cost base is extremely low. And so this is what tax loss harvesting, this is what our dashboard looks like. Or basically, we help people who hold a mix of unrealized gains and unrealized losses see exactly how many of each crypto they hold at a gain and hold it at a loss, an unrealized loss, before making the sale. So it's like, instead of selling all your Ethereum and adding up the gain and a loss. So let's say you hold 200 Ethereum for a loss of 20,000. Well, you could sell those 200 Ethereum and get that realized loss and use it to block other gains or regular income. Or you could dig deeper, which is what our tax loss harvesting dashboard does. And it'll show you, all right, you hold 118 Ethereum at a gain of 14,000. So that means you must hold the other 81 Ethereum at a loss of 34,000. So if you sell only the ones you hold at a loss, it's much better for you. And basically, this is what hedge funds, this is what private wealth managers do for their clients. They say, all right, you've been investing in Google shares over the past 20 years or 5 years, whatever. You've been reinvesting all your dividends. And then we're going to sell some of these at the end of the year. So let's take a look. Let's pick the tax lots that minimize taxes. So the ones you've held for at least a year, so you get long-term capital gains, but that you've held the most for. And you actually get to select the tax lots. And so we basically built a software that, in the place of the exchanges not letting you do this, allows you to track it yourself. And beyond that, it's more, that this is like advanced functionality, but really the point is you can upload all your data. You can talk to us on Intercom and we'll give you your 8949. Most people have a pretty simple situation. They traded on Coinbase, Binance, Bittrex. They did a lot of crypto to crypto trades. They need to report to the IRS, the 8949, and we help you and give you that form.
Okay, now quick question. So when I was looking at the website, one of the things that really jumped out at me, you mentioned that you can also handle ICOs.
Yep, definitely. So we use our manual template. So I'll just pull up an example.
Okay. I know that's pretty big since lots of people here in my audience are also ICO investors.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things is that it's really hard to get ICO data into a system. And a lot of the other crypto tax platforms have a huge problem because people bought ICOs before there was ever a market price. So let me just show you. And so then the cost basis shows up wrong. So it's like, all right, I know that I bought 6,000 QDM, for example. Can you see this, Ian?
Yes, yeah.
So this is our template. We basically, any data you can get into this format, we can import. If you have type equal trade, what you bought, 6,000 QDM, what you sold, 3 Bitcoin on March 17th, 2017. And so a lot of times people are like, well, I look at all my gain loss report and it's showing me missing cost basis for these things that I bought in an ICO. Well, that's because no exchange had that purchase. All they know is that you sold the ICO coin later on Binance. So like if you bought ZRX in an ICO and then transferred it to Binance and sold it, well, it's going to look like you sold something you paid nothing for until you give us the raw purchase data. And this imports directly into the system. And so our team basically knows when the ICO's purchase windows were, what the price was. So we can help people recreate even their missing data. So maybe a lot of people don't remember how many, whatever they bought, and they don't remember when they sent the ETH. So that's something that we do for more of our VIP, or that's what we kind of the value add of our VIP is like, hey, we can help you recreate the data. So we know that you purchased it sometime in July 2017. We know the minimum price during that period was, say, $500. So we know you had to pay at least $500 per whatever coin. And then we enter a synthetic trade that represents that. And so this happens a lot for people who are on Mt. Gox, for example. They then years later go to sell their crypto, and it looks like they've sold all this Bitcoin that they never bought. And so they know they bought 20 Bitcoin on Mt. Gox sometime in 2013. So what we help them do is say, all right, we want to be as conservative as possible to make the IRS as happy as possible in case they want more data, whatever. So we go and we say, in 2013, the minimum price of Bitcoin was 300. So we know that you paid at least 300 for that. So let's just put in the 20 Bitcoin purchased for 300 times 20, so 6,000. And if the IRS wants to ask for more information, the best case scenario, they'll end up owing you money because you've been as conservative as you can possibly be. So we basically, we help people recreate the data that's been lost off Cryptopia, off Quadriga. If they traded on decentralized exchanges, it didn't track the data. Shapeshift, every day it seems like another exchange is disappearing, and along with it, the data. And so if you've given us your API keys or given us your data, at least you have one safe place to know that where it is, because taxes become a nightmare when you can't figure out your trades. I mean, they're hard enough when you know all your data, let alone if something's missing. So.
Okay, that's great.
Were there any questions from the audience? Any other?
Let's take a look. All right, guys, if you have any questions, we're taking questions via Mentimeter. Just simply go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 81865. That's 81865. Okay, let me see what questions we have here. People are asking, this is from Joe. Are you going to make a token or an ICO or IPO?
Oh, I mean, we've thought about doing fundraising. I was telling you earlier, Ian, we bootstrapped TokenTax. So my partner and I, Alex, each own half, we launched and just kind of funded everything out of our own pocket, hired a couple engineers, and just tried to build a cash flow business from the ground up, and then used all the money that we made to hire staff to build our team. So our first employees were crypto tax interns that had studied accounting at Baruch or locally here, and they were just so amazing. They got full-time offers, and one of our superstar crypto tax members is Oscar, and back up 10 years, and he was actually a student of mine when I was teaching Teach for America math in middle school. He grew up, he studied accounting, we stayed in touch, and I was like, oh, you should come be an intern. And he's just done such a great job. He's serving customers. He's getting his degree and master's degree in accounting, and he's an Excel wizard. He's gone through our whole training, and he's one of the artists that fixes all the data people upload. People try their best to get the data in the right format, but it's extremely difficult. And that's kind of the unique value proposition of TokenTax versus every other software out there, is we're there fixing your data, getting it in. We support every single exchange, and we have CPA, we have accountants who you can talk to, who can help you file your taxes, who can help you file FBARs. We're the only crypto tax platform that creates FBARs as well. For anyone who traded on Binance or KuCoin or any foreign exchange, it's not clear if you need to file an FBAR. The IRS hasn't said, and FinCEN hasn't said.
Now, what's an FBAR for those who don't know?
So basically, if you have any foreign bank account in the past, like let's say you had a Swiss bank account or a French bank account, you have to file an FBAR with FinCEN, Financial Crimes and Enforcement Network, if you had over $10,000 in that account at any time. Now, it's not clear if that applies to crypto or not. Is Binance, is a crypto exchange count as a bank? So, at first we were kind of like, I don't know if it applies. Like it seems like a lot of work, but we had so many customers asking for FBARs and saying they really wanted to file out of an abundance of caution, especially after Paul Manafort, that's what he was found guilty of, actually, not filing an FBAR apparently for his foreign bank accounts related to his work. It wasn't about any of the other stuff. And so after that happened, a lot of customers were just saying, hey, can you make an FBAR? So we actually have a report. It tells you all the data you need, and then we walk you through how to file it yourself. Or, Andrew, our other CPA, can file the FBARs for you. But basically, if you trade it on a foreign exchange, you need to know the US dollar value that you had at any moment on that exchange and report the max value to Financial Crimes and Enforcement Network. If you're gonna, go by the letter and be as careful as possible, which in crypto doesn't hurt, I guess. I mean, The problem is the IRS hasn't said much since 2014 when they said, hey, crypto is not a currency. So there's no de minimis exclusion, or really small transactions still have to be reported. So even if you just bought a coffee for $5 worth of Bitcoin, you have to report the $5 proceeds you got, the cost basis, which is what you paid for that Bitcoin, say $1, and then the gain you made on that. So you made a $4 gain on the coffee you purchased, then you owe taxes on that gain. And if they said it was a currency, at least transactions under $200 wouldn't have had to be reported, but they didn't say that. And since then, they haven't really given much guidance. So in the absence of that, we're kind of trying to be thought leaders here and just preaching common sense, like report all your trades. Do wash sale rules apply or not? No one knows because they haven't said, but if it, what we say is the SEC is looking at crypto like a security. They keep saying a lot of ICOs are like securities. So in our minds, accounting rules that apply to securities, it's definitely likely that they could apply to crypto as well. It's definitely possible. So
now, quick comment here. We have somebody, he's kind of making a joke. Nobart Chong, I believe. He's saying, I am wrecked, no taxes to pay. But I think people have to really reframe that because yes, lots of people lost money in crypto in this bear market. But I mean, as you mentioned, right? You can, if you've been paying withholding taxes, you can basically you can basically realize your losses and actually end up getting even a tax refund with the software, right? So this software isn't just here just to help you make payments to the IRS or to whatever tax entity is in your country. It could also help you save money on taxes as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, a lot of people who invested at the end of 2017, early 2018, they bought in at the top because human nature, we like to follow the crowd. I mean, it happens a lot in assets that have gone up really fast in value and gone down. People are always peak buying right at the top and selling at the bottom. But the silver lining, as you mentioned, is you still have to file all of your sales. You have to file with the IRS. But let's say you lost $5,000. Well, you can actually basically get about half that money back, or 40% of the money back eventually through offsetting your ordinary income. So let's say you're a teacher, you make $50K a year, and then you lost 5,000 in crypto. As long as you realize the loss, you have to sell the crypto that you hold at a loss. You can't just like buy Bitcoin and watch it go down. You have to actually sell it, realize the loss, then you get to claim that loss on your taxes. And you could take, if you had any capital gains, first those losses block the capital gains, and then $3,000 a year of it actually gets to block your ordinary income. So instead of paying the IRS on 50K worth of income, now you only pay them on 47K. And that other 2,000 of loss, it rolls forward until your next year. And so then it can be used to block future capital gains when crypto comes back, or on your stocks, or again on your ordinary income. You can take $3,000 a year. So basically, if you lost money on crypto, don't just block it out of your mind. I know it's painful. Realize the loss, file your taxes, get some of that money back from the IRS for once they owe you some money. So so don't miss that opportunity.
So this is really also in a way tax refund software. I mean,
we're just trying to teach people how, tax is incredibly complicated, incredibly Byzantine. There's all these rules and an entire industry, especially in the US, where 100 million people have to file tax returns. Go to the UK. If you just work for a company and that's all you do, and even if you invested in crypto, you don't have to file a tax return because your company does it for you. So the majority of people in the UK have never filed a tax return, which is fascinating. And in the UK, the first 11,300 pounds of gain, about $15,000 of capital gains, don't have to be reported. So a lot of people who, the majority of crypto investors in the US could have avoided having to report at all if we had a system more like the UK. And so in the UK, probably only 30% of people ever file tax returns. Whereas in the US, it's like all these rules, everyone has to file. But the whole point is there's a big opportunity if you know the rules and if you can do what's best for you within the scope of those rules, understanding how to track your tax loss, understanding what tax loss harvesting means, understanding how to report gains and losses properly, how to carry over your losses. And, our CPAs are here to help you do that, help you file your taxes correctly. We specialize in crypto taxes, and we've got, the software platform I demonstrated earlier and a whole team ready to help you figure this out. So,
okay, quick question. People are saying that nobody in crypto files taxes. I think even Coinbase put out some kind of messaging saying that very few people, like less than 1%, I think, something ridiculously small of their user base actually filed taxes for crypto. So how do you deal with that? What's your take on that?
I mean, yeah, and I think, well, that's kind of the way that we're trying to think about the market as well. Is it's about informing people who haven't filed their taxes so that they can figure it out. They can amend for 2017. They can file for 2018. I think a lot of it is just for people that are overwhelmed on how to even file taxes. A lot of crypto investors never own stocks. They've never had to do capital gains and losses before, let alone the fact that if they made any crypto to crypto trades, how do you even report that to the IRS? You have to look up the US dollar value. It's really intimidating and overwhelming. That's why, we have software that starts at $20. We basically just want to make it as easy as possible for everyone to be a good actor, report your gains and losses. A lot of people have said, oh, crypto is not traceable, crypto is anonymous. And to me, I mean, first of all, you should be paying your taxes. And, I'm very I'm in favor of everyone paying their fair share of taxes in a society, like graduated tax rate and all of that. But also just for your own sake, you want to actually tell the IRS your gains and losses before they get info from Coinbase and send you a letter saying, hey, you owe us $6,000 plus interest plus penalties. Basically what's going to happen is the exchanges are going to report to the IRS all the trades and everything that happened. And the IRS is going to run the calculations and say, hey, we never heard from so-and-so, and just send out a mass letter. They're not going to audit you necessarily. They're just going to say, this happened to me when I was going to school at UPenn. They issued their 1098-T documents with the wrong date. It was in 2012 instead of 2013. And so what happened is the IRS 2 years later was like, hey, this, your education institution told us you never paid them anything. You owe us $2,000 back. And thousands of people just got these form letters. And then you had to actually submit documents, explain everything. And so I think something similar is going to happen with crypto, where just thousands or millions of people are going to get a letter saying, hey, you owe this amount, and the burden of proof is going to be on them. And that's what our software is for. It's sort of like, hey, Coinbase told you that I made this much, but they're actually reporting these withdrawals as taxable events, which isn't accurate. I reported my 8949 that I created with TokenTax. Here's the accurate gains and losses. That transfer that Coinbase told you is a taxable event, I actually was transferring to Bittrex and making trades there, which are reported. We basically set you up to be in a position to advocate for yourself and explain to the IRS why what you've reported is correct, because the exchanges have so far avoided providing useful tax information, unfortunately. And every year that passes, I'm surprised they still haven't provided 1099s or more useful forms and tools. And that's our next market. What we do could easily be dropped into an exchange, and we'd love to actually put ourselves out of business by giving everyone proper tax documentation from the exchanges, let people track all their tax lots and everything within an exchange, just like E-Trade allows for stocks. It shouldn't be that hard, and we'd love to be a part of the solution. Just, we'll find new things to do with our time than unraveling data that if that problem doesn't exist anymore. We'd love to do that.
All right, so next question is, do you support hash layer mining transactions?
Yeah, we do. We support all mining, all wallets, all coins, all exchanges. So yeah, I mean, if you mine crypto, that's income. That provides the cost basis for when you sell it. So if you mine $10,000 of Bitcoin and then you sell it for 8,000, well, you'll have income of 10,000 and a capital loss of 2,000. And those go on different parts of your tax return. But yeah, we give you the forms for both of those things.
Okay, next question. Do you still have to submit taxes if you never transferred a profit or loss into USD?
Yeah, if you sold crypto, as in, and a lot of people get confused. They say, I never sold crypto. I've only bought coins on Coinbase and then I bought others on Binance. And what they don't understand is, how could you have bought crypto on Binance without selling another crypto for it? So each trade has a sell and a half. I mean, a sell and a buy, I'm sorry. So, on Binance, you had to sell Bitcoin or Ethereum or Binance coin, whatever, to buy the other cryptocurrency. So this is a very common misconception that people have. They've never sold any crypto for fiat. They've never cashed out any fiat. They think, why would I have to report? And honestly, from a common sense perspective, I totally agree. And I'm pleading with the IRS and our writings, our blogs, our formal letters to them. We're pleading for some common sense regulation on this. But what the IRS says is all those taxable events, all your sales of crypto for crypto need to be reported to us in US dollar terms. So yes, you'd still have to report, even if you never cashed out to fiat.
Yeah, because I know so many people who think that it's just when you cash out a fiat, but it's not. Any buy or sell from any different currency, whether you go from Bitcoin to Ethereum or Ethereum to an ICO, that's a taxable event.
That counts as a sale of Ethereum and a buy of the ICO coin. And same thing, if you spent crypto to buy software, if you spent crypto to buy coffee, if you paid someone in crypto, those are all disposals of crypto. Those are sales of crypto from an IRS perspective that need to be reported. And one other really common misconception is like kind, filing like kind, which some people did in 2017. You can talk about whether or not the IRS will allow that, but a lot of people think that filing like kind, which means saying that you traded crypto for another crypto, you traded for a like kind asset, so they're going to defer the gain. They think that means you just don't have to put anything on your tax return, which is not the case. If you're doing that, you need to file a separate form. It's not a gain loss 8949, it's an 8824. So a like kind exchange form. So really, I just want to give that PSA because every day I talk to someone who's like, no, I filed like kind in 2017, so I didn't report anything. And that's not how it works. You needed to tell the IRS that you were doing a like kind exchange for everyone out there, just to help the community.
All right, next question. If at an 80% loss and you didn't sell, can you still file for tax returns?
Well, first you got to sell it. Then you realize the loss in 2019. It's a lot of people say tax loss harvesting for the end of the year. You could do it anytime while the market's down. You could still, like we said, you only get $3,000 per year of ordinary income offset. So a lot of people who have 10,000 in losses, if you have other losses, you can harvest them right now. Sell them now. And if wash sale rules apply, just to be safe, a wash sale means if you sell something at a loss and buy it back immediately, that loss is disallowed by the IRS. It applies to like Tesla stock. If I have Tesla, I sell it at a $3,000 loss and buy it back immediately, the IRS doesn't let me take that loss. I have to wait 30 days or else it's called a wash sale. And so
it's basically like wash trading with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly, the IRS says it's a wash as if it didn't happen. So in crypto, to be safe, you could sell these coins you hold at a loss, buy another coin that's correlated with them. Like say you sold EOS, you could, and then wait 30 days to buy back the EOS just to be safe if wash sale rules do apply. And in the meantime, people are so nervous, they don't want to miss the run up. Well, you could sell your EOS and take that money to buy a similar coin, something highly correlated with it. We know the correlations of every coin pretty much. We have a historic price database of all the prices of every crypto back to the beginning of whenever they were launched. So we could tell you, oh, ETH is 91% correlated with EOS. So if you sell your EOS to ETH, hold it there for 30 days, and then buy back your EOS, you've realized a huge loss. And now you have that loss in your back pocket to block future gains, which can be amazing if you have an opportunity for a short-term gain. A short-term capital gain is usually taxed at a really high rate, much higher than long-term. And this is what happened in 2017. People were trading so much, it was all short-term capital gains, and people were paying 50, 53% tax on that. In California and New York City, the top tax bracket is like 53.8% on short-term capital gains. It's crazy.
Wow.
So
that's why it's been hard going to California.
Yeah, that's why people are moving to Puerto Rico but yeah, I mean, California, whereas in Texas, Florida, you don't have a state income tax. You don't have state tax on capital gains. So the minimization algorithm for them, if they're trading and keeping track of their tax lots, it's going to be different. It's going to show them, a different hierarchy of which tax lot is actually best for them to sell when they're looking to make the trades. And that's kind of what's interesting about TokenTax and how we've built our algorithm.
Okay. All right, cool. Next question. Does this system work seamlessly with online tax programs like H&R Block or Turbotax?
Yeah, We have exports that, we're an affiliate partner with Turbotax on their web. If you use Turbotax web, there's a place for cryptocurrency. You just click TokenTax and you download the CSV from us and you drag and drop it into Turbotax. It's super painless. It takes only a couple minutes. Same with H&R Block. We have a CSV that imports to H&R Block. Pretty much any do-it-yourself home tax software, we make an output that imports directly into that. Or whatever tax software your accountant uses, we make that pretty much every output you can imagine. It's not that hard. It's just CSV or PDF or whatever it is, Excel.
All right. So next question. Can you go through the countries you support? People are asking about South Africa, Sweden, and is there a list of countries you can share?
I mean, basically, if you come to us from a country that we don't support, we'll figure it out with you. We'll research the accounting in that country, whatever. Usually what's happened is we'll get a client from a country like Sweden, and we figured out with them, like, all right, what are the rules for stocks? What are the rules for what's the precedent? Because most countries haven't said anything about crypto. And then we kind of work, usually our first client from a country will have an accountant. We work with that accountant to really understand the rules in that country. And then we can pollinate that knowledge to people who are trying to file for themselves in Sweden or what. And that's how we got started in the UK and Canada too. We work with accountants and tax preparers there, understand the rules, and then we have that knowledge here. And then we can do our own webinars and teach people. Like in the in the UK, they don't have watch sale rules. They have bed and breakfasting rules, which are the same thing. Like 30 days, losses within 30 days are basically disallowed. But armed with this knowledge, basically we can support people and clients from anywhere in the world. We have clients in Brazil, Mexico, Germany, Spain, Hong Kong, even Australia, South Africa. And the beautiful thing is that gains and losses are pretty universal. Like we're not filing people's tax returns in these countries. We're just creating a gain loss report for them.
Okay. Okay, cool. Let's see. If you still have any questions, please go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 81865. That's 81865 to ask your questions. We're about to wrap up the show. If you like this video, definitely subscribe and like the channel. All right, smash those like buttons. And I'll also be dropping a link with a special offer to my community for this software. All right, so definitely check the video after it's over for the comments. This will be posted on my YouTube channel and also to my Telegram community. Okay, Zach, well, tell us, any upcoming features you plan to add on to TokenTax?
Yeah, we're taking suggestions from our users of things they want. And a lot of people have said, right now you can do mock trades by just uploading a trade and seeing what happened. But people have asked for an actual tool that's like, hey, I'm going to sell this for this. Tell me the tax implications. So we have that on our roadmap. We have NAV calculation, for our hedge fund clients. Basically, a lot of them need to know the exact value in US dollars of their holdings every day or every month to cash people out. And so we do all these things offline, and then we're doing it in Excel. We're doing it for our clients, and then our engineers are adding it to the dashboard. Some other things on our roadmap are we've built these integrations with every exchange out there. We'd love to help other startups buy those as well. And so, sell that as a service and kind of be the.
Yeah. Okay, hello? Okay, I think we lost Zach. Okay, yeah, so let's give it a few minutes for him to log back in. Maybe his computer ran out of power or something like that. But yeah, guys, I think this is really cool software. I'm definitely going to be trying this. I mean, I personally have a CPA and accountant who does this for me, but I'm sure he probably has the same software. And I think it's really important to use this to just keep track of your taxes, right? Not so much, I mean, yes, definitely to make sure you're paying your taxes, but also to help you realize in terms of whether it's best to buy or sell a particular token, right? I mean, whether it's best to sell a token at this point in time, especially when it comes to tax loss harvesting, right? Because you can definitely minimize your taxes and expenses with software like this. So that's why I wanted to share this, guys, with you. And yes, guys, right now I'm back in DC, left Boston. As you guys can see, I came back with some nice merch for Harvard. I had a chance to go there with the founder of Nucleus Vision, And definitely have some great news coming up, guys. Stay tuned. All right, stay tuned. Great news. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. All right. Does it differentiate between the various taxing laws in each state in relation to the type of asset, currency versus SEC regulation qualified tokens? I'm not sure about that in particular, but in terms of currency versus a security, but as Zach mentioned, it does differentiate between states, right? If you're in the US, if you're in a place like Florida or Texas, where there's no state tax versus California or New York, you can definitely differentiate between that. Thank you, Index Monkey, for that question. So let's do quick shout outs. I'm not sure if he's going to be logging back in, but shout out to Mr. Brown, shout out to George, Neo, John, shout out to Joe Dagger, Jay Guru, Real Health News. Thank you guys all for watching this live stream. Oh, okay, you're back.
So sorry, yeah, internet went down here in New York City, so.
All right, well, we're just about to wrap up the show. So I think I asked you a question. What did I ask you? Any new features, or I guess what do you have in store coming up?
Oh yeah, no, there's figuring out what we've built, our pricing database, our exchange integrations, things that other startups in the crypto community can use, mock trade functionality, the ability to include your stock holdings. And so people that want to see all their portfolio of all their investments in one place, and whatever our users want to see. We love to make useful tools for the people using our product, for the accountants, for the hedge funds, whatever they tell us, hey, I'd love to get this report. That's what's on our product roadmap. And so sorry for dropping off there, but
no worries, no worries.
For having me on.
Well, thank you so much, Zach. It was a pleasure. Looking forward to trying out this TokenTax software. I'll be dropping a link below in the comments. Once again, guys, this is just me sharing my personal opinion. I'm definitely not a financial advisor or a tax accountant. Consult a professional before doing so. Right, TokenTax does have that available on the service. This is me just sharing my opinion. This is not a sponsored video or a paid video. This is just free education, trying to help everyone go to the moon and making sure we minimize and maximize our tax losses and gains.
Exactly.
That being said, guys,
if you have any other questions, you can just come to tokentax.com and ask us whatever on Intercom, whether you're a customer or not. We just, we want to help people figure out their situation. So
actually, so there's one last question. So,
sure.
Can you go through the different payment plans or plans available?
Yeah. So basic is $20. It's just Coinbase and Coinbase Pro. Premium is all exchanges, 3,000 transactions, helping you fix your data, whatever. That's $200. And then we have VIP, which is $1,500, which is basically like, hey, it includes audit assistance. It includes 2 30-minute sessions with an accountant, a lawyer, helping you set up an LLC, whatever. So, casualty losses are no longer allowed. So basically those are our 3 plans. And then we add on tax return filing, which is $200 for really simple, if you just have a W-2, up to $500. And then we file taxes for hedge funds, for S Corps, C Corps, LLCs, whatever. And so we can give you a custom quote for that. And we can help you set up LLCs. We can help you do anything you kind of need in the accounting or legal space for crypto.
Now, are you able to share any of your customers? I'm not sure if you shared this publicly, but
some of them, a lot of them have, we haven't really spent much on marketing. Most of our marketing has been really happy customers just tweeting about us for free, not because we gave them a product or whatever, but because, hey, they were in a really bad situation. Some other tax software, their Excel spreadsheet said they owed $1 million. We helped them fill in the blank, get the missing data, and help them get it right. And they were so happy they tweeted about us. So yeah, we work with Briar Capital. We've worked with a lot of.
For those who don't know, Briar Capital is one of the premier funds out there, VC funds. They're investors in Facebook, even KuCoin, right? Lots of blockchain companies in the space, right? So for them to be
amazing
team. That's pretty cool.
And so building off of that, our credibility for high quality work and just growing by word of mouth. That's pretty much what we're doing. It's so difficult to advertise on Facebook, Twitter, everything's blocked on AdWords, whatever. So we're just trying to make customers really happy and grow that way.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, guys. And I'll see you on the moon. Like and subscribe. Take care.